The World Cup is over. That's old news. European football is around the corner. The Champions League returns in February. It's the round of 16, and we thought it was a great time to talk about some futures, some of the teams we think that might win this Champions League. It's Footy Talks presented by North Star Bets. I'm Albert Vartanian with Michael Singh. Mikey, let's start. I asked you, I'm like, give me some futures for this tournament. You like Bayern Munich.
I do like Bayern Munich, and I feel like they're a team just traditionally that a lot of people overlook because they do it year in, year out. And you start to get to a feeling where, is this going to be the year where they finally start to fade off in a way like, a Barcelona has, or in a lesser extent, much lesser extent, like a team like Real Madrid has. But Bayern Munich are still very much legitimate. And you think about their pathway to get to this point, specifically in the Champions League. Barcelona went 6-0-0 throughout the group stage, beating teams like Inter Milan, Barcelona, and 10-4-1 record, 10 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss in the league so far this season. This team is still very much legitimate. I know they have a tough matchup against PSG in the round of 16, but if they can find a way to get by, Bayern Munich is still, in my opinion, going to be one of the major favorites, and they're at 7-1 right now.
Yeah.
And you look at other teams who are around that level. I mean, Bayern, it's good value. It's good value.
What concerns me about Bayern Munich is the matchup against PSG, right? That is a fantastic matchup, and based on the form of Lionel Messi, based on the form of Kylian Mbappe and Neymar. And, you know, Neymar and Mbappe, you have to imagine, are going to be even more eager to try and win this Champions League. I'm not saying they're going to get through it. It'll be difficult. You got to remember, Bayern Munich beat PSG in a final not that long ago. But this Bayern Munich team, you're right, Mikey, they're fantastic. 18 goals scored in the Champions League, just 2 conceded. And in that group, those 2 goals weren't even conceded against Inter Milan, and Barcelona was against Victoria Pilsen.
Yeah.
So that shows you defensively they can get it done. Goal scoring wise, they haven't missed a beat, even though they lost Lewandowski. Mane has slid in really well. Leroy Sané. So that's your favorite, which I don't mind. If they get past PSG, I think they can make a deep run. Let's talk about some long shots. And you threw one at me. I'm like, Mikey, what are you talking about? Benfica.
I had to throw Benfica in there. It's time we got to give this team some respect. And the way that they are able to come across their group stage, beating the likes of PSG and Juventus, finishing unbeaten through their group stage, is just a remarkable feat for a team that's in the Portuguese league. But in that Portuguese league, they're taking their game to an even another level. There are 12 wins, 1 draw in 13 matches played so far in the domestic league. This calendar year, this season at least, they are unbeaten. They haven't lost a game that's not a friendly. Like this Benfica team, and then when you think of some of the talent on that team, you have guys like Enzo Fernandez and David Neres and Gonzalo Ramos and Julian Draxler and shout out Nicholas Otamendi and any American fans watching out there, John Brooks is also on that team, recently signed João Mario and Alex Grimaldo. So the talent on that team is, because they play in the Portuguese league, they often get overlooked, but the talent on that team is legitimately there. The results are there to back it up, and you're talking about 25-1 right now. And if you look at their round of 16 matchup, it's Club Brugge, which I think if you look at some of the teams, they're one of the teams that other teams would want to play.
Yeah, that's the tie you'd want to get, right?
That's a tie you'd want to get.
If you're Benfica. And what I like about Benfica, too, is that you mentioned, look at some of the players they have coming off the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez and Gonzalo Ramos. Ramos scored a hat-trick in 1 game, and then Enzo Fernandez, young player of the tournament. My concern there, I'm going to play devil's advocate to everything that you're saying. I like the pick, but I mean, if Enzo Fernandez and Gonzalo Ramos, if one of them maybe gets sold in January, that's a pretty big hole to fill. With that said, they'll probably have the money and the funds to fill that hole. I decided not to go with any of the quote-unquote favorites, and I'll tell you what. You're calling it a cop-out. I know you are. Man City right now, okay, they're probably my favorites to win it. I'm not going to bet it because at plus 125 as of recording this. It's too short. You look at Bayern, PSG, and Liverpool. Difficult round of 16 matches, like we mentioned. Bayern playing PSG, Liverpool playing Real Madrid. I'd rather wait maybe until the quarterfinals to put some money on these teams. I like all of them. I think all these teams can make a run. And we should probably mention, I don't remember the last Champions League where the tournament felt this open. I feel like there are maybe 5 or even 6 teams that can win it, Mikey.
Yeah, there's a lot of really teams that you don't expect that would be here at this point of the tournament. You know, you have teams like Porto who had a fantastic group stage. As I mentioned, Club Brugge is there, and Benfica and Leipzig's another team. The Spurs are in there.
Tottenham, AC Milan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All those teams have the potential. We've seen it in past years and in the domestic leagues to go on a hot run and beat any one of these giants on any given day. So you're right. This is more wide open than we've seen in past years, and it should make it a little bit more entertaining, especially with some of those ties.
Yeah. So one of the teams that I like, long shot. Mikey's not calling it a long shot, but at 14-1, I love Napoli. One of the best teams in Europe at the moment. They're the top of Serie A. And think about this in the Champions League this season in the group stage. Most goals in the group stage, just 6 goals against, 5 wins, 1 loss. They have 2 goal scorers with 4 goals. They're getting their best striker back in Victor Osimhen. They just have everything possible, I think, to make a deep run in this Champions League. A lot of focus will be on Serie A for them, because if they were able to do that, it'd be such a big thing for them in their history. It hasn't been done in quite some time. But Spalletti was saying, their manager, Luciano Spalletti, was saying, a lot of people are looking at us post-World Cup and that it came at the wrong time. He says, no, we needed this break, and now we're going to come back more confident than ever. And if you look at the players that went out from Napoli to the World Cup, just 3 of their starters were sent out and got bounced out a little early. So I don't think fatigue is going to be an issue. I think this team is going to come out strong. My only concern, if I had one, was the focus on Serie A. If things start going a little pear-shaped in one or the other, where's the focus going to be? Right. That's my concern. But I think at 14-1, it's a pretty good shout, Mikey.
Yeah. See, I love that shout, but I'm not calling it a long shot anymore. Like, it's time to start putting some
what's a long shot?
respect on Napoli's
Let's go deep
name.
down. Maybe, was Spurs at 20-1? Is that a long shot?
That's a longer shot,
They
yeah.
got AC Milan,
yeah.
tough tie.
Yeah, I would say that's more of a long shot than Napoli. Listen, this Napoli team, just circling back to them a little bit. Napoli's unbeaten in Serie A this season. They did remarkable during the group stage of this Champions League. And just their journey overall, to thinking back to the amount of players that they sold and got rid of, and to where they are now, I mean, it's as impressive as it gets with this Napoli team. And yeah, like I said, it's just time to start putting some respect on this team. They are, in my opinion, a legitimate threat, not a long shot, a legitimate threat to go all the way at this Champions League.
Yeah, one of the most entertaining teams, not only in the Champions League, but in Europe. So to recap the picks, Mikey's favorite to win it all, Bayern Munich, can't argue with that. Benfica, the long shot, if that comes through, that's a lot of do-re-mi. I'm sprinkling on Napoli. Mikey's not calling it a long shot. I am at 14-1. But guys, make sure you head over to northstarbets.ca, not just for soccer markets, but for everything. Whatever you want to bet on, they have it. With the Champions League just around the corner in February, you're going to want to go through it and sprinkle some money as well. Thanks so much for watching Footy Talks.